Welcome to Habits and Humor, where you come to make serious progress without taking life too seriously. This podcast shows how we can create powerful daily habits and enjoy life at the same time. I'm Susie B, and this is Habits and Humor. Come to laugh, stay to learn, choose to live. Welcome to Habits and Humor. I am Susie B, and today we have a phenomenal guest who's going to teach us about confidence. Imagine your life, how it would be different if you feel confident in your ability to overcome past trauma, past difficult experiences, past things that have happened to you, or even the pressures of the future, by understanding yourself differently, by using your subconscious mind a little bit differently, and by using some of the tools that an incredible guest today has for us. Matt Kendall, welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you very much for inviting me on. It's going to be fun.
This is going to be fun. So Matt, you just talked about on our Facebook group how you are going to be super real. So let's just get straight to the good stuff here. We're going to not beat around the bush. What are your 3 keys to confidence? Let's just jump right into the juice.
My 3 keys, and I'm going to be going over them in quite a bit of detail, is in the thing which we call IEMT, which I'm a trainer of. That's reprocessing trauma from where you are now, as opposed to the person who it happened to when it was encapsulated. That's part of what I do. The other part of what we call patterns of chronicity, so why you stay stuck, why you aren't able to get past these things. And the 3 things that I'm going to be talking about and giving not demonstrations, but information. And then I'm going to give you an actual thing that you can use. We'll do a quick demo, and then you can use this, and you can use this forever, really. But the 3 things are positive toxicity that I like talking about, and what I call the great mindset conundrum. So I go into a lot of that because I know there's a lot of mindset stuff around there, which is fun. Then we're looking about cause and effect. So this is blaming other people for your situation. And then we're going to look at something which we call testing for evidence of the problem. Okay. So
Beautiful.
a little bit about me. So my background's in hypnotherapy. So I started doing hypnosis. How old am I now? About nearly 20 years ago. And I didn't mean to do it. I went to a networking event. I was running a print and design studio, an online print design studio. And I met a hypnotherapist who asked me if I wanted to be hypnotized. And I said, yes, I do. So he hypnotized me. And at the end of our sessions, because obviously I needed sessions, he said, go and train to be a hypnotherapist. And I had no intention of being a counselor or psychologist or anything like that. I did quite a technically based degree. But I went, okay, fine. And so I did lots of hypnotherapy training, lots of different hypnotherapy schools, private tuition, online courses, virtual. I did loads and loads and loads. And then I started working with loads of people straight away. And most hypnosis in NLP is not great, but some of it's really good. Some really good tools in there which create real change. I don't just think your life's going to be great, like the law of attraction and just wishful thinking kind of thing, because it's either going to work through coincidence and then you have survivorship bias, basically, or it's not going to work, which is more likely to be the case. But then the case is, if it doesn't work, you don't believe in the universe enough or something like that. But generally, if you think that, okay, so I got in trouble at work. I used to work for a telecommunications company. We had a woman come in to do a goal setting course. And so we got a piece of paper and we wrote down 10 goals, and she goes, make them as big as you want. There's no such thing as a goal that's too big. So I wrote down 10 goals. We then sealed them in an envelope and put a date for next year. And she goes, okay, so next year when you open this envelope, just notice that your goals have come true. And I went, is this kind of some sort of joke?
Is this witchcraft, wizardry? What are we talking about here?
I said, is this, what do you mean? I said, what's the structure? What's the actual plan to achieve this? If you put your mind to work, it'll come true. So I had to go for some diversity training, because apparently saying to somebody, this is just insane, it was quite frowned upon. I never got to open that envelope because I'd left my job by then. I got told to leave the job because I was running my own businesses from there. And actually, to be fair, to her credit, one of my goals was to leave that job. In a way, one of them did come true. Then I've been very interested in self-development. And again, I don't like a lot of it. Now, I have absolutely no problem with people wanting to better themselves. I think it's very admirable. What I don't like is the institutionalized exploitation of people, which is what we see on a grand scale. a grand scale in the self-development industry. And there's a big difference between self-development and therapy. However, a lot of people in self-development think they're therapists, and it can be a very dangerous and toxic environment. I won't name any names. Okay, but there's some big people who shout it on stage and get you to walk on hot coals like that's going to help psychosis or something. It's not. Anyway, so I was doing hypnotherapy. Now, the problem is with hypnotherapy is people come to you and they want you to change them. They want going to a dentist, that you go to a dentist because they're going to work on you. Self-development and changing your life doesn't work like that. So they come to you and go, I want you to hypnotize me. And when I wake up, I don't smoke. Right? It doesn't quite work like that. Because if you want to change smoking, you've got to change so much in your life as well, or drinking, or any habit like that. But
Yeah, there's a lot of habits that are involved there, a lot of environmental factors. Seems like it would be a bigger task than just one hypnosis therapy.
It really is. Now, I have helped people stop smoking or help reduce their drinking, things like that. I really like people who have been through really horrible stuff. The worse you've been through, the more I can help you. It's harder to help people with just low self-esteem or confidence issues, because what they need is 15 years of exposure to social situations and so much other stuff. You can't just go from being shy to being super confident. It's just going to go wrong because you don't have the socials. People don't realize this. It is a skill set.
Takes time to develop those things.
It does. And you can't do that by reading a book or watching a YouTube video. You've got to do that.
It's too bad, though. It would be nice if you could.
I know. But people get sold. That's why so many courses are sold, but nobody gets to the end of it or go and do anything. Then you buy another. So we have what we call shelf help. Loads of books that you just don't read. Or you read the first bit. Shelf help is a great term. Anyway, I love getting people over trauma. And I met this guy and we went to a development training. So he didn't even have a name called IEMT. It was just called eye movement thing. And I went in and met this guy called Andrew Austin, and he said, do you have a memory which just stands out? I went, yep. So he just moved my eyes in a very simple way, and it completely changed my interpretation of that memory. What? I saw it from who I am now, not the person who it happened to when I was 12. And I thought that's going to change my whole career. So I took this one little eye movement and started using it straight away, getting phenomenal results. It then became a practitioner course. I went and did that course, and it's a lot to do with identity and so much other stuff as well. I was then invited to become a trainer. And so that was in 2013. And since then, I have trained hundreds and hundreds of people in this amazing technique called IEMT. My next training, 26th and 27th of August, academy.com. Just go on there. You'll find all the details, or just message me. I'm not hard to find. I have hundreds of hours of videos on YouTube, IEMT practitioner, and I'm on Facebook. You just Google me, Matt Kendall. I'm all over Tinternet. That's an English saying. I'm very easy to get hold of. Just Matt at IEMTacademy.com. And like I said, the next training's in a few weeks' time. So IEMT is a way of reprocessing negative experiences, because ones that are having a hold over your decisions at the moment. Now, you don't know they are, because you can't go speak to that person, because when I was 7, I was rejected by a girl who I gave a Valentine's card to, because that sounds crazy, but it is. And so doing a lot of self-help, you will never get to what we call the imprints of the problem. How did you learn how to feel this way about this thing? IEMT is a very articulate way of breaking down the problem into its components and reprocessing these imprints. So now, when you want to go do something, you're not fighting against the emotion of it. So you can go and redo it. And I could talk for hours on this, but I want to get into some practical stuff that we can do.
Appreciate that. When you guys want more of this, know he's doing that conference in a couple of weeks. You can get all the details then.
It's online. It's a practitioner training online, 2 days. The first thing I talk about is what I call positive toxicity. And this is people who want to feel good all the time and for no reason. You know, these people who say, people who use the word queen and stuff like this, and who say things to themselves in the mirror, you're amazing, you're fabulous, you're great. If you're having to say that, you don't believe it. I can say this chair here is a table for as long as I want. It's not going to make it a table. I'm just lying. So people often say affirmations. You only have to say an affirmation if you believe it not to be true. I don't have to look in the mirror and say I'm great and stuff, because I just believe that. So I don't need to say that. Okay. So if people want to feel great all the time, chances are they're trying to get away from something.
Hmm.
That's where the meat is. That's where I can help, or that's what you should be focusing on. By wanting to feel great, what does it allow you to avoid? Because that's the problem. If you dealt with what the problem is, you wouldn't need to feel great. So what happens, it sets up this sort of dichotomy. So you want to feel great all the time. And you can do that by pumping yourself up, walking on a fire thing, going and hugging people and high-fiving them and say everyone's great and everything's awesome, like the Lego movie, everything's awesome. You can say all this, and it's great for a day or two, but you get back to your life, and by Wednesday, life's bad again because you've not dealt with the actual problem. So how do we feel great about things? We either go back to that thing to feel great, or people tend to turn to oxys, alcohol, opioids, other kinds of online things
A
to actually
myriad
get
of bad habits that are trying to cover up something that we don't know how to
yeah,
deal with.
because it allows them to avoid this feeling. So people who are so positive all the time are very likely to be covering much deeper problems.
Okay.
Okay. So when you meet someone who's really positive, just go, "Are you okay?" But are you okay? Don't, because they won't be, and they'll probably tell you about it. So what a lot of people want to do is they want to feel better about things, but without being skilled in the thing itself. They just want to feel good. They want to feel great. They want to feel confident and competent, but without doing the training for it.
Mm.
There's a massive difference between therapy and training. And what people want is to get the mindset, right? I want a confident mindset. In what? I always say, in what? Oh, about this. You have to learn how to do it. Think about
Yeah.
this. If you're in a plane, do you want a competent pilot or a confident pilot? A pilot who's listened to some audio tapes, pumped himself up, and is now at the steering deck or whatever it is, the flight deck. I want somebody who's competent at what they're doing, not just really confident because they've pumped themselves up. Okay.
Can I
So,
push back a little bit there and say that maybe
yeah,
these two things go together? What about you want to be confident or competent first,
yes,
but maybe you need the confidence to create that competence, or once you have the competence, you need the confidence
uh,
to use it,
the old chicken and egg situation.
right?
The confidence will never come first.
Okay, that's good
The
to know.
confidence will never come first. And the thing is, if you're anxious doing something, good. When you first started driving, were you anxious and stuff? Yeah, because you were learning. But you had a teacher, you had a trainer, you had somebody, a tutor to teach you the actual skills. And it's like that with anything. So when people say to me, so how do you, so I do, well, I used to do a lot of public speaking. How do you become, how do I get to speak like you on stage? I started when I was 14 doing stand-up comedy in clubs. I then went on to do a band night and I hosted about 100 events to live audiences. Since then, I've hosted 500 meetup groups and spoken all over. I record usually everything I do. I listen to it all back, make lots of minutiae little changes every single time and practice. Oh, so it's not just an affirmation you give yourself. No, it's not. No.
It's not just something
But
you wrote in an envelope and
yeah,
a year later it happened. Dang
exactly.
it.
So people want the results of doing the work. What you need to do is the work. The mindset will always follow. It will never come first. And if you're too confident doing something, then you go to do the thing and it goes wrong. That creates a stronger negative memory, because negative memories or memory is created in high emotion. We don't remember everything because we don't need to. So we remember emotion we remember memory, sorry, in high emotional states. So so let's say, for example, you want to become a great public speaker, but you don't have a strategy, you haven't practiced, you've just got the right mindset and you want to share your message, that kind of thing. I've seen this go wrong so many times. If you just go out there and try and share your message, but you've got no structure, no slide, it's going to go really wrong. And that's what you're going to remember for the next time you do it.
Hmm.
If
That's
you
where the memory
practice,
base comes from.
yeah, if you practice, go out there, deliver well, that's what you're then going to take on to the next time.
Interesting.
Okay, so again, lots of people are trying to sell you a solution by cutting out all the hard work. Let me tell you, there is no shortcut for doing the work of things. There just isn't. So the better you understand that if you want to be confident, become competent, do it again and again and again and again until you can't make mistakes. You want to be so good at what you do, you can't make a mistake in it. Then you can have confidence and flair.
So that right there is going to overwhelm a lot of people.
Yeah.
Tried this thing a lot of times. Now I'm frustrated or I'm overwhelmed by this thought because I try to lose weight and then I fall off the wagon, or I
Yeah.
try to eat healthy and then the weekend comes. How do we overcome
Yeah.
that?
I'd say don't bother then.
Say that again.
Just don't bother. If it's too hard for you, just don't bother, because you're going to be stuck in this cycle. So you either commit to something or don't. And honestly, the pain is in the middle. I know that sounds bad, but it is. It's true. Just
Straight
say, well,
talker, man. Matt's going to get
well,
straight to the point here, y'all.
what's the point of, again, that's just positive toxicity. You just need to believe in yourself. Oh, I'll start on Monday, and until Monday, I'll eat myself. I'll eat loads and loads of food. No, start now. You need to commit to things. If you want to lose weight, you don't need a personal trainer and a dietitian. You need common sense. You need self-discipline. Because I hate to say,
Self-discipline, that's so big. So big.
if you remember anything from what I say today, I just want you to remember this. No one is coming to rescue you.
Mm.
So enjoy your life. Just want to get on these other things because I've got lots more positivity. What I call effect and cause, or cause and effect. Are you causing your life, causing change, or are you to affect? You know, a jellyfish, okay? A jellyfish. A jellyfish has no control over where they go because they don't have much power. They go where the tide takes them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Most people are jellyfish. So where you are in life now is not through choice. It's through what you've let happen to you, or what has happened to you. So many people are in jobs they don't want to be in. They just kept getting promoted in a job they don't like, and now they can't leave because of their financial dependence. Okay. And this is how most people live their life. Okay. So you have to think, am I causing the changes in my life, or am I letting life happen to me? And think about it like this. Are you happy with what's going on in your life? And are you telling people about your problems? If you are constantly telling people about your problems, because we all have that friend who, you know, when you have a friend that when you see their name appear on your phone, they know they're just going to call you up to moan about their life. If you don't have this friend in your life, then it's you. Right?
How's that for a reality check? If you don't have
It's
this friend,
true.
it's you.
It's true. If you're just complaining about everything, okay, you need to stop complaining and actually do something about it.
Effect and cause, not cause and
Yeah.
effect. Oh, I love this, you guys. I love it.
Is life happening to you, or are you doing life? You've got to
Are
think of
you
it like
doing
that.
life?
Are you a jellyfish, or are you a shark, if you like? A shark controls where it wants to go. Maybe not a shark, I don't know. But basically, a jellyfish just goes where the tide takes it. And if you're letting life happen to you, then you can't really complain where you end up.
Mm.
And the
Sort of a
last
choice,
thing,
a choice to end up there.
it's absolutely, well, it's a choice to take control of your actions. Not taking any choice is just you're literally going wherever. You're literally going wherever. But then you'll complain to everybody, and you're the person who'll end up in therapy saying how bad your life is. Don't think about how bad your life is. Think about how bad your continuing decisions are. That's all. When
Think
people
about
say
what
I've
you
got
can
my
do today that makes it
yeah,
better.
that I always say to people, I learned this from somebody in the SAS, right? They always ask them why, not why me, but what can I do? What
Mm,
can I do?
beautiful. Not why me, but what can I do? Put that
Yeah.
on your
Or
bathroom mirror and read it to yourself every day.
or a stone instead of you're fabulous. live, laugh, right? What can I do? Okay. And the last thing I just want to go on before I share this technique is testing for evidence of the problem. Okay. So people will spend a lifetime working on their problem instead of living their life. Some people's problems become their whole life. And the thing is, they probably don't have any kind of future plan because they're waiting till they're fixed before they get on with their life. So people who go from therapy to therapy, people who, if we talk about losing weight, they'll have every diet book, but nothing's worked for them. Why is that then? So people are testing for evidence of the problem. I'm actually back at home in the north of England here at the moment in York. Very sunny and hot here today. Now, I haven't lived here for a number of years, but when I was like 16, 17, my mum used to say, go clean your room. So I'd go clean my room and there'd be like one sock left. And my mum would come in and go, I told you to clean your room.
Mm.
But although 99.9% of the problem has gone, They look at the tiny little thing that remains. Okay.
Anybody else get a reality check there? I'm pretty sure I said that to my kids yesterday. Interesting.
What we need to do, the more progress you will make. Okay.
Beautiful.
So you are never going to be fixed. You're never going to be fixed. You're going to learn how to manage your problems. That's all. Don't wish your life was better. Wish you were better at life.
Hmm.
Okay. People want their life to be better and think stuff's unfair. It is. Life's unfair. Just is. So how can you be better at life to try and get the odds more in your favor?
Beautiful. And it's not going to be complaining about the fact that life is unfair. It's
Yeah,
going to
I
be
know life's
taking
unfair.
action and focusing on the good things that you do have. I love this concept. And this is one of the things that I preach often and teach in my programs, is just that you want to track the progress, whatever it is that you're moving
Yeah,
toward, whether it's building a business or whether it's losing weight or whether it's improving your fitness routine, whatever the goal is that you have for yourself, track the progress.
I
Write it
once,
down. Tell yourself, hey, these are the awesome things that I did today. And when you have
yeah,
those days where you're like, I am not good at life, this is not going well, and you want to complain, go back and look at that reference list and think, you know what?
yeah.
I was already doing these things. And I know that you have a concept about that, using your own experience to improve your own experience. Tell us a little bit about that. And then we'll go
So
through your
this,
technique.
so this is what we call episodic time. So in the IMT training, I go through this in obviously much more detail, and I'm actually developing a whole mini workshop around this concept, which will be, I'm still writing it, but it's going to be a whole 2 or 3 hour workshop. Now we call it episodic time. So basically, the simple thing is, what's the bad thing that's happened? What did you then do afterwards? When I first started this concept, or when I was first trained in it, it used to be, what was the thing that happened, then what happened next? However, what I found is that people would often tell me the consequences of the problem rather than what they've actually done and achieved. So
That's
say, for
circumstantial,
example,
not so much action based. Yeah.
absolutely. So let's say that somebody was in a car crash and it changed their life. What happened next? My car was written off. What happened next? I lost my job. What happened next? My cat died. And so you get into a very negative spiral and people become uncoachable.
Mhm.
So what I started doing is, instead I started saying what happened next, I said, what did you do that was good for you next? And we do them
I
in
like that.
consecutive order, in like historical order. And so we start off with what, so say that you had a car accident or something, you got fired, dumped, whatever happened, let's say it was a year ago. I like to get between 6 and 10 positive actions that you did that brings you right up to today.
The 10 things that we've done that are good since that episode.
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. In consecutive order, in literally like a timeline. So it could be, so I worked with somebody the other day and they got dumped. No, they found their partner in a compromising situation with somebody. Okay. And so their relationship
Rough day.
ended. Yeah. So I said, what did you then do afterwards that was good for you? I got my own place. After then, what's something good that you did for you? Oh, I got a cat. He was actually allergic. Brilliant. What did you then do that was good for you? I went on holiday with my friends, which he would never let me do because he was too jealous, ironically. What did you then do that was good for you afterwards? I started to become an RTT therapist, Marissa Peer's thing. Anyway, it's a therapy kit. Okay. Then I started my own business. Brilliant. Then what did you do that's good for you? I went on match.com or something and I've met this new guy. Then what did you do? And we build it up all the way. And so if you're doing a session with somebody, you end on, so you're at this session now doing this for you. And what you then do is you actually read this list back to them over and over again. If you're doing this at home, this is what I suggest you do. Write the problem, write the scenario, the dumping, the breakup, the job loss, the loss of a limb, anything like this. I've worked with so many people, the death of a loved one. I know that sounds bad, but it also works with stuff like this. Then write down 10 things that you've done. And these do not have to be massive things. So if I've worked with people who've had like stillborn children and stuff, one of the things they did was they were managed to go home and make a cup of tea.
Mm.
The next day they saw some friends. The next day they went for a walk. So it's not, you don't have to all go to Disneyland and start a business. It's sometimes just positive actions that you've done.
And I almost
So
think
if
in those times, especially with those things that are like recent, those of us that are like, okay, my, traumatic experience just happened. I don't
yeah,
even think I've done 10 things at all since then. But if you think about those
you
little
do,
tiny little
you
things that
have.
you did for yourself, huge difference in the way you see the
You
situation.
brushed your teeth, you went for a shower. Because what we're doing here, instead of the problem being circular, we're actually creating an exit for this problem.
Mm.
When you do this, if you're doing it at home, space it out and actually take a step forward each time. So have your sheet or your laptop, well, probably a sheet of paper, take a step forward. Because when you think of the original problem now, it's allowed you to do all these great things.
Wow,
And it
that is
completely,
beautiful. The original problem has allowed you to do all of these great things because if you didn't have that problem, you wouldn't have done those things.
yeah.
Shifting
So
minds, y'all. This is beautiful.
it's actually takes something which is really negative into a weird kind of blessing in many ways.
Amazing. A cool
Without
exercise. I'm actually going to do this.
without
I hope you
trying
will
to
all
be
actually do this.
without being overly positive. We're taking real world examples. When you're working with a coach, so if you're a coach and you're using this with clients, the client can now get to this point where they are now coachable to move forward.
Phenomenal. Phenomenal. So this is for all of us as individual people and for those of us who help people, whether those people be clients, whether those people be your children, your
Yeah.
loved ones, your
Mm.
friends. Beautiful. This is so applicable. So many situations.
Yeah, so it's really good for people who nearly died in car crashes. I've just done somebody who had a near fatal car crash recently. And then what did you do? I got out of the car. Then what did you do? First responders came. Then what did you do? I went to hospital. Then what did you do? I went home. Then what did you do? Some friends came around. Then what did you do? I went out. Then what did you do? So when you repeat it back to somebody, what happens? It puts time and content between you and the thing. So the thing's not immediate in your life. It puts it into your timeline instead. It's just something that happened.
That's beautiful. So can you do this with yourself or do you have to hear those
Yeah, cool.
words
No, you can
spoken
do it
back to,
yourself.
from someone else?
You can do it to yourself, absolutely. So
Awesome.
we write it down, write the problem, then write 10 things you've done, then get up and literally pace it out. And when you think about the original problem now, it'll just seem so far away in life. It'll just seem something that's insignificant, something that's just part of your past, something that's just, but look at all the great things you've done since then. And taking all of these great things, now let's build some goals for the future.
Oh, I love this so much. I'm just running through the list of people in my mind that I'm like, I am sending this episode to this person.
You do that.
Beautiful. Such a useful tip.
Hashtag Matt
So
Kendall.
for people who have had multiple experiences like this, where when we complain about our problems and tell people about our problems, we're like, oh, it's actually this and this.
Mm.
Do we do this event or do we do this activity several times with each individual event or do
It
you
depends what
lump
it
them
is.
together?
Well, what you'll find is a lot of people who have a lot of problems tend to have a very strong theme. I keep going out with the wrong guy. What's the problem here? What's the thing that connects these things? It's you. Okay.
Ouch. How
Well,
was
it
that for
is.
a gut check right there, y'all?
Do you keep choosing these wrong guys or do you keep attracting them? Okay. When people are in vulnerable positions, especially women, it will attract men who are abusers and just they're like vultures. Okay. So when you're in a really bad state, it's like you shouldn't go shopping when you're hungry, kind of thing. So if you need to be with a partner in that state, ask why. It's usually because they can't be alone. What's the problem about being alone? What? And then that's where you do the therapy intervention on that feeling of being alone. Where does that come from? Let's be honest, probably something from childhood.
Neglect or something. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It always usually
Fascinating.
goes back. I don't deserve love. I'm unlovable. Usually everything comes back to that in some kind of sense.
Wow.
That's
And
very
it all
broad
can be,
psychiatric brushstrokes. Yeah.
does it necessarily have to lead back to one specific traumatic event or can it
No,
be
it can
just
lead
like
back to
a,
usually periods of time, but the way that the brain works, say that your parents went through a divorce, okay, when you were young, you're not going to remember that 4-month period like it's CCTV. You're going to remember about 5 or 6 key memories from that time that mean the
mm,
most. And
and you
that's the
can kind of
memories you
clump
then
those
work on.
together and that was your
Yeah.
starting point and that's where you
Yeah.
start your timeline of
And
healing.
in IEMT, we break that out and work on the individual memories itself.
Okay, beautiful. So IEMT, you are doing IEMTacademy.com. This is where your event is being
Yep.
announced here, correct? You guys,
That's
I'm
great.
loving this conversation. I'm definitely going to this event. I hope you guys will too. Matt, how can people reach out to you if they have questions between now and then or down the road?
If you want to email me, Matt, M-A-T, at iemtacademy.com. Facebook, I'm on my private page. I think I'm IEMT practitioner. On YouTube, it's IEMT practitioner, I'm pretty sure. If you Google Matt Kendall IEMT, I'm on lots and lots of different platforms and things. But IEMT Academy, just go on there. Or if you've got my details, I suppose, if people want to. But yeah, you can email me, Matt at iemtacademy.com. Yeah, or yeah, that's it.
Awesome.
That's where I am.
Awesome.
I'm on LinkedIn as well, Matt Kendall.
Beautiful.
I think I am. Yeah, I am.
Just Google him. Just Google him. You'll find him.
Google me. Google me.
All right, you guys, thank you so much, Matt. All this was absolutely brilliant. This will all be accessible for all of us on the podcast all over the place. And you guys can definitely catch these replays. Those of you that are here live with us, we are going to open the room for question and answer now. If you are catching this on a replay or some other platform and you're not live with us, please join us next time live. Thursdays, 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Get in here and get your questions answered live, face-to-face time. This is an absolutely free platform for everybody. So bring your friends, bring your family, and come get your questions answered right here on the Habits and Humor podcast. Matt, thank you so much for being here. You're a genius. This was absolutely phenomenal. I can't wait to hear what these questions are. All right, you guys, thanks for being here. And we'll see you next time on Habits and Humor. Thanks for joining us this week on Habits and Humor, where you come to learn about health and habits and then take action. If you're ready to take action, join our free Healthy Habit Challenges every month in the Healthy Habits Facebook group, where we master one healthy habit at a time. It's fast, it's fun, and it's free. So whether you're feeling overwhelmed, confused, or frustrated by your health, or you just want to feel good about your body and your habits, get in here. Go to group.suziebhabits.com to join or DM me at SuziBHabits. That's SUZIB Habits. I'm Susie B, and this is Habits and Humor. Come to laugh, stay to learn, choose to live.